Welcome to Through The Tabke Podcast with Brian, JL, Tom, Rick, and Russ.
And what's the word of the what's WrestleMania this year? What do they keep calling it? Stupendous. That's right.
Stupendous.
And you just know Vince McMahon was like, stupendous. You know,
everyone came up with all of these words, and he kept saying no, and he came up with his own.
Stupendous.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I think the shows will be good once they fill it all out. I think there will be.
So the Friday before night.
I was gonna say.
Oh so no, that afternoon they'll have a match booked.
So during the Hall of Fame,
probably.
Will anybody else go into the Hall of Fame, or will it just be Undertaker?
Doesn't look like it.
And I'm surprised they haven't made any more announcements, but yeah.
They shouldn't have anyone else going. Just have him be the only one.
That's kind of smart.
If anyone needs their own year, it's him.
I don't know, but like if they're going, I mean, I know he's kind of killed his gimmick with the whole Undertaker Last Ride documentaries and
hanging out with Bad Bunny,
and
the Saudi Prince,
and hating, the internet hating him for being like a Trumper and stuff like that. But like I feel like I can't see him carrying a whole Hall of Fame, an hour speech or whatever it would be. You know what I mean? I feel like they'd have to fill it.
He could do 20 minutes, 25 minutes of talking and a half hour of just like videos, and then Kane coming out, and they could do an hour pretty easily, I would think.
It wouldn't take much.
Yeah.
Just have a bunch of people talk about him too.
Because they're gonna put everything in that. Like it's gonna be an actual good show, because like, I mean, besides the only one that's left is The Rock, and they'll probably do that next year.
Oh, because especially, I could see that. Especially because it's in Hollywood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then two, and then two, isn't there like already speculation that next year's WrestleMania is supposed to be Rock and Roman?
Well, they've been saying for 3 years he's supposed to do WrestleMania, and it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, schedule hasn't matched.
Well, too, it's been a little bit.
Well, if I get a $30 million movie role, I'm doing that over WWE appearance.
Plus, it was also supposed to be in LA already, but then they had to move it.
Mm-hmm.
So, should be interesting. But maybe it will be The Rock against Cody Rhodes.
No.
How soon before we get a heel Russian gimmick? Because Vince has been like so excited to have another one. He loved Nikolai. Who didn't? I liked him when he had the little cent symbol on his tights.
When the $1 Million Man owed his rights.
When he was poor Nikolai Volkov.
That was great.
But every time there's like a conflict in the world or something, we always get a heel.
Koloffs.
There used to be millions of them.
We needed another Nikita Koloff.
I found this out like a few weeks, like it was like last year. That Nikita Koloff wasn't Russian or whatever he was. Like he's from
none of them were.
He's from like Minnesota. Like what?
Mm-hmm.
One of the Russians became Axe or Smash, whatever the two of them.
Yeah, I know he was a Russian or whatever.
Khrushchev, yep.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Crusher Khrushchev.
I had no clue that Nikita Koloff was actually not a Russian dude or was he Lithuanian or something, right?
Yeah, so was Volkov. Yep, right, Lithuania or something.
Yeah. But he spoke with an accent, and he came around a time where it was like, oh, you have an accent? You're Russian.
Yeah,
was a long time, too.
most of the Russians that they had weren't Russian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe what's Vladimir Kozlov doing?
I don't want to know.
Bagging groceries.
Remember when Santino, when he was in like OVW, his original gimmick was it like Alexei something or other, and that's what he was, like a Russian shoot fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made him Italian.
He's actually said that he would want it. He would want to do commentary. I think he would be good.
I think so. He's quick witted enough to be. I think he'd be pretty good on commentary. But it's all.
He has to do it as a regular guy. He can't do it in their time.
Yeah, he can't do it. He can't do it as Santino.
Lenny and Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley.
Right.
Which is ultimately what his gimmick became.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Can't deny it.
Pretty good though.
2022 Laverne and Shirley reference.
I knew we would get there.
But I guess, I mean, it all depends, like, especially with commentary now. Like, I don't know how it is in AEW, but, like, you know, I mean, how many countless people have we heard where it's like, oh, you know, commentary is good, except for, like, when Vince is just screaming at you in the headset.
And that's most of the time.
Like, I don't know how people can deal with that. Like, do they do that in AEW? Is, like, Tony Khan yelling at him? No?
He might just say, like, don't forget to mention this or that. Right. But he's not in there like, you need to do this, you need to say this, you need to say that. He might just be like, don't forget to hype this or something, or mention something.
Like a time cue or something.
Right. Like, we're going to go to the finish soon or whatever. He barely interrupts.
It's probably
mostly before the match starts, they just say, all right, here's a couple of things to mention. That's about it.
Right, bullet points.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It also be why it seems somewhat disjointed too.
Just too many talking heads at times.
Yeah.
It's better to be 2 than 3. It really is, or 4 on Rampage, which is a disaster because Jericho has to scream and yell all the time.
Yeah, Jericho needs to stop.
It's awful.
And they need that's one thing I hate. I absolutely hate about AEW is it's like a 3-man booth is like borderline. Pushing it borderline
for them,
and then you just slap in a 4th guy, and it's like, what are you doing? You just have Excalibur and Taz.
That's all they need,
and just call it a day. They don't need Ricky Starks and Jericho. Just be, you know,
Ricky gets to barely talk because Jericho always hogs the mic.
Right, but like Ricky too, he's trying to be like, you know, I mean, he's in gimmick, you know, so it's just like I just don't think you need that there the whole time.
No.
Like, if he was like a guest on commentary, like if
that would have been fine. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you need to have him and Jericho out there at all times.
No. They don't need either of them out there, really.
Who's gonna just something completely different, but who is going to accept Edge's open challenge for WrestleMania?
What celebrities left that haven't used yet?
Seriously.
Or could it be Cody?
No.
Wasn't it supposed to be AJ?
I don't think so.
I thought
when someone was it AJ and Shawn Michaels are trying to push Shawn Michaels to come back for that match still. He's saying no every time, but they're still pushing for it.
Because Edge said something. Edge cut a promo the other night and said something like, you know, I want an opponent that's like phenomenal. And he used the word phenomenal. So I'm like, okay.
But didn't he also give a couple other cues to other people though? I heard that.
He did say something about smoke and mirrors, which was Cody's old theme or whatever.
They said he mentioned like 3 or 4 different people by just what certain vocabulary.
All right, so they can
I can't remember who else they mentioned. It was a couple of other people. I'm waiting to see what celebrity they get for it.
So there's 5 matches currently set for WrestleMania.
For a 2-night show.
That's all you need. Three on one night, 2 on the other.
5 matches set for a 2-night show.
Brock and Roman will go an hour.
That's how
Becky
long?
Becky and Bianca will go 2 hours. There's your second night.
A month away.
Right.
What is it, like early April?
Which, by the way, is your biggest. It's your Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That's your Super Bowl. You should have matches that have been a year in the making, that you've been, especially like Edge, for instance. You know he's not going up for a title. That should be something that you've been building for months. If the Shawn Michaels thing is happening, why is this less about a month off? Why is that not starting to be built up? Why has the Austin thing not been built up?
Austin hasn't agreed yet.
I know who Edge is wrestling. Veer Mahan is finally going to show up and beat Edge and debut at WrestleMania.
He'll win the battle royal.
And the entire crowd goes to the bathroom during the match.
He's gonna pull a Fandango. He's gonna debut at WrestleMania.
Fandango's gonna be there.
No, remember Fandango? Remember he debuted at WrestleMania and beat Jericho in his first match ever at WrestleMania.
And then that Monday Night Raw was the greatest Raw with
Fandango
fans chanting for him to come out, and then they changed the main event, and then the dance.
And that's gonna be the Veer Mahan spot.
Oh, Veer. I would like it'd be funny if Veer just showed up on Dynamite one night and not even under contract.
Just walking around in the back. Am I at the right show?
I'm trying to get to Raw.
Yeah. Still doesn't know where to go, even though he does main event every week.
I was actually watching a little bit of Monday Night, and they did have another promo for him.
Oh yeah,
about how he's coming to Raw. Like, all right,
I think they're in on a joke now.
They gotta be.
Oh yeah,
he might never show up, and they're doing it on purpose.
That sucks. That sucks.
They'll change it to Veer's on his way to SmackDown after that.
Till his contract runs out.
And Tony Khan snatches him up.
I don't see that one happening.
No, it's not.
Never. Nope. He's one they don't have to worry about.
Though, like I said, was last week, the week before. I mean, they may see something in some of these guys that we don't see on TV yet because of how they utilize. So.
Oh, yeah, I know. Sure.
But boy, was Vince right about a guy like Andrade.
I can't believe that still, that he just didn't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where you put him. I don't think you put him right in the title picture, but I feel like they definitely kind of dropped the ball with him.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Has Keith Lee been on a Dynamite since his debut?
He went on his honeymoon.
That's right.
He showed up. He got married that Saturday. He showed up at Dynamite. Then he went on his honeymoon. So he'll be back next week.
He was there Wednesday night. They did a backstage deal with him.
Yeah. But he wasn't there. He just shot a vignette.
Yeah, they had Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs walk up to him while he was trying to do an interview.
Yeah.
And then him and Hobbs kind of stared each other down.
I guess he came out at the end of the show because the crowd kept chanting for him. And Tony Khan's like, well, come on out. I got Keith Lee with me.
What's going to be the big announcement, you think?
They bought Ring of Honor's library at the worst.
I still think it's... Sorry, go ahead, Ray.
No, I was just saying that'd be kind of cool because then they could possibly start like a...
At the worst, it's they bought the library. At the best, it's they bought the library, Ring of Honor, and they have a streaming deal.
Yeah, I'm thinking streaming deal, something to that effect.
Ring of Honor's involved with it. If there's NDAs out there and you can't talk about anything, I have a feeling something with Ring of Honor's happened. And nothing's fully signed yet.
A streaming deal doesn't feel like it would be that big of a thing. I mean, it's a big thing, but it would be
for HBO Max. That's pretty big.
But it would
Yeah.
be like I think it would be a disappointment to hear that. Like he's
We
been
said
like,
it's not signing a wrestler.
right.
Although he did say, what, was it yesterday or today that he said that it's not signing a wrestler, but
It's similar to the big dance
yeah,
that they did this summer. He did say something about that.
the network wouldn't be a big deal until you realize that he's announcing this on Wednesday night, right before the pay-per-view, and you don't have to worry about some awful pay-per-view vendor to get it. And you
True.
just sign up for it right before Sunday.
That'd be dope. Because as of right now, I'm not watching it if it's on Bleacher Report.
What if it's a Bleacher Report app? They now own Bleacher Report.
No.
Well, they still do like the movie theater.
It's at the
shows.
theaters again. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
I would
That they've
do
already
that.
announced.
I would totally do that, but it's a Sunday.
Yep.
It's like
Right.
two. I don't want to be at the movie theater till midnight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? 3, I have to. I'd have to work the next day.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I mean,
I did the movie theater thing once, but I'm also in California, so you're out early.
Yeah, you
So.
get the advantage of the early start.
So
The pay-per-view is what, March 6th?
yeah, next
Yep,
Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Like, yeah, I'd be totally down to watch it at a movie theater, but just working the next day and
Well, you'll have to wait till the probably full gear next in the end of the year. The next 2 are on Sundays. After, so the next 3 are on Sundays.
right.
Did we talk about the promos that were on AEW, the MJF and the?
Yep.
A little bit. Actually, I want to get your take on the MJF promo.
Add your 2 cents into them.
The MJF one and well, we'll get to the Eddie one after, but yeah, I want to get your take on that.
I thought for sure it was very good. It had all the fixings. It had the unexpected. It was obviously real. I don't know where it's going to take the feud, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, I think, because MJF has built this character so much to have done that. I guess if he ever turns babyface, now you can go back to this promo and be like, okay, maybe we can get behind him, kind of thing. But what can he do now to really get CM Punk? How can he turn this back to his evil ways, kind of thing? So it was intriguing. It was certainly intriguing and certainly very good. So
It was different.
it should be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
For sure.
I think he's gonna do something either next week. I mean, it's got to be either next week or at the pay-per-view where it's gonna make him look like a giant douche.
Well, they just can't leave it as that and just go on with the match without anything else coming from it.
Right.
could they do the double turn?
I don't think they could.
No, he's going to look like a gigantic heel by the end of this because he's getting all the support right now. Punk kind of looks like an asshole for kind of like douching on that whole day and all that.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose of this is to get into Punk's head. And he's going to turn it on him, and he's going to look like the biggest heel there might ever has been. Like top heel ever type of stuff. And I mean, Russ, I said it earlier. I thought that I love this because it was different. This isn't something you normally see. You don't see one of your top heels deliver an emotional, real life baby face promo. You just don't see that.
Right.
completely out of character, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant because it sucked me in. I was already invested in this program, but now this promo is like, oh, all right, where are we going? I can't wait.
Because it tugs on the, CM Punk did leave, and as much as people wanted him back, it was just like, also I had the thing where it was just like, okay, you didn't get a WrestleMania main event, but you fought Triple H at WrestleMania. You fought Undertaker at WrestleMania. You've been world champion almost as long as, as so many people. You had so many great things given to you, and then you just leave and just bitch and whine. MJF tapped into those emotions too, which was good.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where they go with it. It like I said, it's definitely something different, something you would never expect before, which really excited me. And I had made mention earlier too that you just see a lot of these comments and stuff, whether it's on Reddit or whether it's on whatever social media platform, where people who are WWE centric fans, if you will, love to say, well, AEW doesn't create their own storylines, they don't do anything different, it's all rehashed stuff. You can't say that now. This is definitely something no one's ever seen.
What was really great about it is that, like, the feud was, which I didn't like. It was just like, this is going to be a better dog collar match than Valentine Piper. No, it's not. It's going to be really good, but it's not going to be bad.
See, I don't think they were touting it as that though. Like, I think that was. I don't think they were ever saying that it was going to be better. I think that's just how.
They were definitely leaning on it, though. They wanted that because the other thing that they could lean on was Cody, who's gone, and Brody, who's gone.
Right. So yeah, I mean, you like I said, I think it was just that was probably Punk's way of getting, all right, like MJF's been mentioning that he's better than Piper. Piper in Portland, he keeps, saying like stuff like that. So it's like, all right, you think you're better than Piper in Portland, then, you want to be tied to Roddy Piper. Like, now you're going to be tied to me. Like, I think, I don't think they're trying to, it's not like WWE where they literally titled something the greatest wrestling match ever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I think that was, instead of just being like, all right, you beat me up last week and now I want a dog collar match with you. I just think it was like like a smarter way to get to the fact that they want to do a dog collar match. It's not like, and that's the thing too. Like, it's better to, I think it'd be better to mention Piper and Valentine than Brody and Cody, considering like that dog collar match was literally like, it's like I said, I just said, it's like, oh, you beat me up last week, now we need to have a dog collar match.
Right.
Like, it literally was just, 0 to 100.
So here's the brilliance of this gimmick too right now, this program, is the fact that in a dog collar match, you need to be as brutal and as violent as you possibly can.
They're going to be bleeding buckets.
Yeah. If you hate your opponent, kayfabe, hate your opponent, it's easier to make that happen.
Yeah.
Now, if you have some sympathy for your opponent. So remember when this was announced the week before, there was a lot of hesitation, a lot of angst on MJF because he wasn't, I don't think he wants to do something like that. His gimmick wouldn't want to do something like this.
No, not at all.
So now what's the best way to combat it? You're already locked in for it.
Mm-hmm.
Turn the sympathy angle around.
Right.
Now you don't have Punk going in there already as the aggressor. You're playing on his heartstrings. He's not going to go after you the way that he would originally. That's why this is brilliant.
Yeah.
So how can
MJF shouldn't even show up till the pay-per-view. We shouldn't even see him.
No, like no response from him Wednesday night, nothing. Wait until Sunday. But this, they're doing, and I haven't seen this. Like I said, this is something different, but this is what the setups used to be. This is almost an in-ring storytelling that they're doing outside of the ring.
Yeah.
Where you're playing off of the emotions and the feel and everything. And now you're wondering, how does the babyface pull himself back up and overcome what you're seeing?
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm loving this, because I don't know. I can't predict what's going to happen. And in wrestling, after 40 years of watching it, it's hard not to predict what's going to happen. And this is something I can't. And I love that.
Exactly.
Should be good. Definitely.
I'm looking forward to it.
What else is out there? What else
Brazzers.
has sparked the wrestling week as is? We're a month away from WrestleMania. We're a week away from a huge AEW pay-per-view.
I mean, I don't know. So they announced what, Charlotte and Ronda for night one
Right.
as the main event. I mean, that's just
Brock and Roman night 2 main event.
that makes more sense because title unification. Okay, that's the biggest match you could possibly have.
Match.
Right.
Sure.
And honestly, the one thing I guess I will, also, I guess, tip my hat off to is the fact that I think this is probably no. Okay, they did it last year. I was gonna say that there was like a string of time where the Royal Rumble winner wasn't in the main event, like the year Nakamura won it, 2018. Right. I forget what the main event was, but he ended up wrestling AJ in like the middle of the card. Like the year I went, we saw it in the Garden. Alberto Del Rio was the first match on the show.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
the main event. Yeah.
Same thing. Seth Rollins, the year Seth Rollins won it, first match on the show. It's just like, so it's like the fact that both Rumble winners are main eventing WrestleMania. That is kind of cool.
Makes sense.
But it's like, that hasn't happened in a long time.
No, it hasn't.
It's just like, Edge did it last year, but they stuck Daniel Bryan in there. And then the year before or whatever it was I guess Becky, but same thing. They threw Charlotte in there last minute and just made it a three-way.
Right.
Do you think they would have stuck Daniel Bryan in there a year ago if they knew what was going to happen?
Yes and no.
Because I think they were still trying to get him to sign. And I think they were close on it too.
Probably. But you wanted to work Japan. That was a big thing you wanted to do.
I think Bianca and Becky is going to open night 2.
Well, it's on night 2.
And then if Austin will be there for sure. But like, if Austin wrestles, is he night 1 or is he
night 1?
Austin's night 1.
Yeah. They don't want Brock and Roman anything to get off of their match. I bet that would be night 1.
Yeah, that makes sense because then they would be able to sell night 1, and because Brock can sell night 2.
Right.
So if they're saying that, and the, I guess the speculation comes to light that you do AJ, Shawn Michaels, Austin, Owens, and whoever Edge is supposed to wrestle. It's like, what I mean? Like, is your night 1 is just, it's like a.
I would think AJ and Shawn Michaels would be night 2 if Austin and.
Probably right.
Well,
offset those.
Right, but like you said, if they don't want anything close to taking, like, anything to take away from Roman and Brock. You know what I mean? You're not. I feel like you're not going to have.
You got to put good matches on both nights, though. You can't have just one night stacked and then the other night just have one match.
Right.
You just would put that match earlier up in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Is Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn? Is that official yet?
Yeah, pretty much.
Not quite.
They just ran a program tonight.
It's definitely happening.
Is that one of the 5 that Russ said earlier?
No, that wasn't the 5, but the 5 that are it's Charlotte, Rousey, Rock, Roman, Becky, Bianca, the Miz, Logan Paul against the Mysterios, and then
Mysterio and Guerrero,
and then the Edge Open Challenge. That's the 5.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so maybe Austin, and Johnny Knoxville, that's 7. The two battle royals, that's 9.
They won't do the battle royals this year. I guarantee it.
I don't think they have enough people for it.
They definitely don't even have enough people at this point.
Unless they do what they did back in Boston, where they have that stupid gimmick battle royal, where they bring a lot of the old school people back.
That was pretty awesome on commentary, though. Like watching that.
It was awesome on commentary, but it was also 25 years ago, so it's going to be even worse now.
Iron Sheik's knees will be really bad.
Oh no. Could barely move 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, trying to think how many 11 matches each night, maybe.
11 seems awful high.
That's a ton of matches. I was thinking maybe last year wasn't many. It was what, 6, maybe 7 each night.
You could do eight a night max, maybe.
Yeah, well,
11's awful high. I don't know if they have 11 matches they could fill out on both nights.
yeah, I'm trying to look and
You'd have
see.
to do the battle royals for certain at that point.
Right.
But if they're trying to keep it to a 3-hour show, just depends on how much they give the main, the bigger matches on the show. If you give them each 20 to 30 minutes.
Right. I'm trying to find the card from
7 to 8, maybe 9 max a night.
There was 7 on night 1. And then number 2, and night 2 was 1, 2. And then 7 on night 2. So those 7 each night.
All right. Well, they can definitely fill that.
Yeah, they should be able to.
Who's going to be they haven't announced the host of WrestleMania. They usually do that. Maybe that'll be Austin.
If he is in wrestling, I could see that.
Yeah.
For sure. Because he lives in the area still. If not, I don't know who would be the host. I have no idea.
Yeah, it would have to be Austin, I would think. And he could be the host, and then the first night he could be out there doing the host thing, doing all that, and then Kevin Owens could get under his skin, and then Austin will be like, all right, I'm gonna fight you tomorrow, or just stun him.
They could do that
the following night.
I think if Austin does the whole host thing, if Austin doesn't wrestle, I don't think Kevin Owens has a match. Unless somehow, unless they're going to do something with the tag team titles with them, right? Because him and Seth have been teaming up or whatever the last few weeks.
Right.
So it's like, so what do you, because as of right now, they have, like I said, there's a month left. They have no singles match.
Right.
Like you said, if they're trying to bank on Austin Owens, I mean, I guess the least that they can do is, Austin's hosting, Owens comes out, gets the stunner, everybody goes on, whatever, everybody's happy because there's a stunner or whatever.
But I could see Owens demand a match with them for night 2 if that's what happens.
Right. But
So I
that's
could see it go either way.
right.
What would be crazy is if like Austin got stunned night 1, and like that would be like Austin's not the hero on night 1. He gets stunned, and then night 2 he gets his revenge.
They could do that. People wouldn't be thinking that would happen.
Not at all.
Austin would be down for it, I'm sure.
I think that would be pretty cool.
Because obviously he's getting put over in the end.
Right.